So this past week was Jason's last week of school, or actually Tuesday was his last day of school. So he had just a couple days and then off for the rest of the week. We promptly all got sick. Everybody in the house got a kind of bad cold, and so most of the week was spent just sort of holed up in the house. And so I got to looking at the calendar, realizing that we are now just a few weeks from summer camp. Summer camp is one of my favorite weeks of the year. I like to think it's Jason's favorite. He hasn't told me as such because he can't, but I know he always has a lot of fun when we go to summer camp. This will be our fifth summer camp with the Boy Scouts. Uh, he crossed over in 2020, but that was after summer camp. We did Cub Country, 3-day camp out with the Cub Scouts that year, and then we crossed over at the end of the summer. So our first year was 2021, which was a bit of a challenge because nobody knew what was going to be open that year. So the troop decided to do a DIY summer camp. That was Camp DIY. We were able to camp on a piece of private property. It was actually a tree farm in Montana. And the boys got to do some old-fashioned pioneering skills. The property owner and some of the adults that cut down some trees, and the boys used old-fashioned hand tools to chop off all the branches, strip the bark, and they made a whole troop contributed, made a tree house out of them. And Jason participated in that, had a lot of fun. That was a cool place to be, especially that particular summer. It was kind of cool to be just up in an isolated place. I think it was the place to be in the summer of 2021, somewhere where you were isolated and not around a lot of other people. And a couple of my highlights of that were swimming in the creek a few times with Jason. Boy, that creek was cold because it was mountain snow runoff. It was July. It was freshly melted snow. One thing I really remember about that camp was, like I said, we were isolated, and it's frustrating for my wife that we were out of cell phone range. And so I'd be taking a lot of pictures, and then at least every other afternoon, I had to hop in the car, drive down the highway a little ways to somewhere where there was cell phone service, so I could email or text the pictures back to Jenny, because it was the first time I had her baby away from her for that long, and boy, she was frustrated. But it was a lot of fun, and at Camp DIY 2021. And let's see, year after that was Fire Mountain, which was one of the big uh, summer camps that the Boy Scouts have. A lot of money pumped into that camp from Boeing, actually. And they have a big zip line. Big thing to do there is to do the zip line at night. We had Jason up on, ready to do the zip line. We got him in the harness, got him up the tower, but he just wouldn't let himself go. He'd start to sit into the harness. But just as soon as he got his feet just a little bit off the ground, start to feel that thing moving, put his feet back down. So we didn't end up doing the zip line, but did a lot of swimming, despite the the leeches in their pond. They did actually have leeches. They're little tiny things. They're not anything to worry about. They liked me for some reason. I think it was because I spent a lot of time floating in the swimming area while Jason would be off just a ways away from me, stirring up the water, and then I'd be a sitting target where I'd just be floating in the water. So I had a little trouble with the leeches. They're not really much of a nuisance there for most people. Every time I came out of the water, I had a couple of them. They brushed off, so it wasn't a big deal. But the highlight of that camp one of the highlights of Scouts, all of our scouting experience, was there at Fire Mountain. Their pond is stocked every year with rainbow trout for the kids to catch. Because it's private property, it's a man-made pond that doesn't have any outlet. Uh, People who are at the camp who are working on their fishing merit badge can fish in the pond. You don't have to worry about licenses and stuff. If you're there to do your fishing merit badge, which we signed him up for, and he earned it because he caught a fish. He and I caught a fish together. Big memory for me because I didn't know if I'd ever have that memory of catching a fish with my boy, with Jason. But we did that together there at Fire Mountain, and it's something I'm going to treasure forever. Next year we did Camp Grizzly, which was cool because it was a smaller camp. It's in Idaho, and we had a lot of fun there because it was a smaller camp, a little more intimate. We did a little canoe trip there. We started in their pond and took a canoe up to a dam that they have there, and the kids could swim. And then we canoed back. I did not have at that time a dry case to put my phone in to take pictures, so I had to leave my phone at camp, but never did get any pictures of that. That was a lot of fun. But then last year was Camp Parsons. That was our longest. Well, might have been our longest trip. I'm not sure if it was longer than the Trout Creek, Montana, or not, but it was a ways, and we actually camped overnight on our way there, and it was on the Olympic Peninsula, and it was the swimming area was um, tidal saltwater, so sometimes it'd be a little deeper than others, depending on the tide, exactly when we went out, and because it was saltwater, it float really easy, and so it was the easiest swim test I ever had. I passed the swim test easy because I could just float in that water forever if I wanted to. I had a little extra padding. Um, Jason actually got frustrated in the swimming area because we went out to the swimming area once where the tide was in, so the swimming area was a little deeper than normal. It was chest high on him. And he kept trying to dive under the water because he likes to get under the water. Sometimes to sort of test himself to see how long he can stay down and uh, how long he can hold his breath, pop back up, laugh loud. Well, he kept trying to do that there in that salt water. He had trouble. He was so buoyant. He had trouble getting and staying under the water. Uh, it was just he, but he's in water, so even though he was frustrated, he was obviously having a lot of fun. Um, Squealing a little laughing the whole time. He always does. He always has some merit badge classes that we sign him up for, and merit badges at summer camp can be a little funny. Well, if you show up every day and you do your best, a lot of times they'll sign it off. So Jason has some of his merit badges that he's earned by being at camp and doing the activity to the best of his ability. Uh, and we help him, give him the amount of accommodation he needs. Um, I remember the art merit badge last year at Camp Parsons that we signed him up for. We always try to find him something where he's going to have something to do with his hands, something I could help him with hand over hand, assisting. And the art merit badge sticks out in my mind because there was a point where he was supposed to, part of the instruction was to draw a picture, some sort of a simple picture with a pencil, and then set that aside, grab a marker, get with a marker, then do it with a paintbrush and do the same thing. And he understood. I didn't expect him to necessarily understand what was going on, but he actually did it. All he did was do a simple spiral. Like they give him the pencil, and he made a simple spiral, and we swapped it out for, actually I think the next was an ink pen. he did it again. He drew a very similar spiral, and then we gave him a paint brush, and he, rather than like painting a spiral, he like dotted, but in a spiral pattern. And I was like, I guess, I guess to some extent he's understanding the instruction and doing what they wanted him to do. So that was really special. Anytime seems like he's getting something in a way that I didn't necessarily expect him to, it's really special to me because it's a thing with Jason that he can't speak, and we tried for a while. We got a hold of a tablet device that was provided to us to try to help him speak, and the answer to every question was chocolate. He heard a lot of chocolate. Uh, that was pretty much the answer to every question that we asked him, and he knew how to navigate it. To get it to say chocolate bar, he had to go through three different menus. We at one point we updated the software and it changed, and he learned the new pathway. Um, but that was about all he ever seemed to be interested in telling us about, is that he wanted some chocolate milk. So while that's something that we will continue to work on, finding different ways, different methods that might help him communicate and express himself. Maybe a different device, maybe some sign language, things like that. Keep working on things. We know that he clearly understands more than he ever expresses. He understands, we say, we always feel like he understands just about everything we tell him, or we try to assume that he does. Until he shows otherwise, that he didn't understand something that we told him. But he's always ready to surprise us, it seems like, and show us that he, in fact, understood something that we didn't think that he understood, which is a wonderful thing to find out that he did understand what we said. So yeah, we're gonna be getting ready for summer camp here, and I got to get all the stuff together, get a checklist going, because it always seems like I forget something. I'm real good about that. If there's one thing I can consistently do, it's forget something. It's the highlight of our year, going to summer camp, being with the boys. Jason loves being with the boys. Um, he loves silliness, and those teenage boys get them together at camp, and they'll be silly. They got all their funny songs and their skits they do, and Jason loves being around that. Loves being just sitting around, being one of the boys, being part of what's going on. It's not always clear with a kid like Jason that he um, understands what's going on, or he doesn't tend to really acknowledge the people around him a lot of the time. But every now and then, with scouts, with the boys that he's become comfortable with, he knows. Um, every now and then, you'll catch him demonstrating that he really does enjoy being part of the group. Um, and sometimes I'll take a quick little still picture or even a quick video of him sitting with the boys, and he's watching, he's paying attention to who's talking, and he just seems to be one of the group. It doesn't take long usually to notice that Jason's different from the way he moves and so forth. But sometimes when he's sitting with the boys, he doesn't stand out necessarily as being that much different. He's sitting, he's watching, paying attention to what they're doing, and laughing when they laugh, and being one of the boys. So it's a really special time, and really looking forward uh, to our summer camp this year.